All right. Hi, everyone. Just give this a second to catch up. Right. There's always like that delay, right? Where I turn it on and you don't really know what's going on till I see things. Playback error. You guys hear me? Yes, great. Everything looks like it's working well. All right. How many people do we have in the chat here? Can I get a message? Let's see. We got a couple people in here. It's a little bit early. Started a little bit early, so we got 5 people in the chat. It's not bad. It's not bad. We had a good amount of questions come in. Yeah, we got 5 people. So where is we got 5. Where are the 5 from? Let's hear it. I'm gonna put some words in the chat. Welcome to the stream. Got 6 people moving up. Today we're going to be talking about your YouTube questions, and we're going to answer. It's kind of like just a live session, whatever you guys have questions about. There's a bunch of people that sent in questions ahead of time, got lots of questions, and just gonna kind of answer what you got, answering whatever questions you have going on. So I'm gonna start by answering the one question that I think got answered a bunch. So there was someone who asked a really good question. They put here, I had to Google Translate because it was in Russian. So forgive me if I kind of mess up that translation a little bit. But it says their watch time doesn't really increase after the video goes live. But a couple months later, once the show's live, it then starts to get some traction. And their basic question is just like, well, why? Why is it like I post it and I don't get anything, and then a couple months later it starts to build traction? So that's a good question. When you first post your video, a lot of times YouTube is showing it to the select group of people, right? They're showing it to your core subscriber base. They're showing it to a little people, just like a fraction of your subscribers. And then based on how that works with them, it then expands into other people. So by the time, after 2 months, YouTube kind of understands what it is. They understand the viewer behavior. They'll start showing it to people. It'll also start showing up in a little more search engines as well. So you'll start getting more results. You'll start getting connected to other videos. So for example, if your video is about soccer, right? And then 1 month later, there's a big soccer game, there's a good chance that your video is going to show up and get a little more views at that time, as opposed to at the beginning when you first posted it. So yeah, YouTube's kind of like the long game, like it's, what's the term they use? It's a marathon, not a sprint. So when you post a video, you kind of want to hold on to it for months, years. There's some videos that I've posted that uploaded had almost no views, and then 1 year later, suddenly they just get tons and tons and tons of views. It's the nature of YouTube. It's what they say is it's like planting a forest that you're going to harvest over time, if that makes any sense. Okay, so one of the other questions I get a bunch. I actually unmuted myself and I heard myself twice and it was very weird. So how can I go about targeting? I'm going to put this question in the chat. so that people can hear it or people can read it. Right here. And it won't let me put anything in the chat. Oh, here we go. Too long. There we go. We'll do that. So the question is, how can I go about targeting a younger audience in my demographic? Is there a way I can market myself without being clickbaity that will still tell the algorithm to push my videos to a more diverse demographic? So the younger audience is definitely a thing. It depends on what you mean by younger audience. So YouTube tends to skew a little bit younger, but not quite as young as other platforms. So for example, like YouTube, it's very common to have like 16 to 18-year-olds on YouTube. It's also common to have larger numbers up to people like 55 plus. If you want really younger audiences, like teens, young teens, tweens, like 13 up, you'd be looking at going through more of like TikTok, because that platform would have much younger audience, where Facebook used to be young, if you guys remember. And then now it's really geared towards people over 24. So it depends on what you're doing. But YouTube has a huge kids thing. My daughter background's always on YouTube watching YouTube kids stuff, right? So what you need to do is you need to think about specifically the age group you're trying to target. So if you're like, I'm trying to hit 13 to 16-year-olds or 18-year-olds, you need to know kind of what they're into right now. Like, are they more on TikTok? Are they more on Instagram? And then what are they watching? And then you need to make sure that your language kind of reflects that. Like, I know there was a client I was working with once. They like really want to target ourselves to like 14-year-olds because they were like a clothing company. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. And then their marketing was like, it was like a 60-year-old wrote the marketing material for it, and it didn't match. It's just like, oh, like today it was like so stuffy writing. And I'm like, there's no way someone who's 14-year-old is going to watch this video. It's just like, it's geared towards someone over 55. So you need to make sure that the language reflects that. And then you need to make sure the topic reflects the topics that people are also looking for. So language is number one, topic is number two. And then thumbnails is number three. So the different age groups will probably lean towards different types of thumbnails. So like an older demographic might lean a little bit more towards like a more professional thumbnail, but a younger demographic might move forward towards like a brighter color. You do it like you see like vloggers, right? Or like Shay's done this a lot. If you guys know Shay Carl, it's like very like over the top exaggerative. It's like, oh, like the alien thing from Mars, and it's because they found a huge spider in the bathroom, and the thumbnail is like everyone's outlined in green and it's punchy. Or Daily Bumps, they do the same thing. They're just like really punchy, bright thumbnails that can really bring in that younger audience, where someone who's 30, they're going to look at that and just be like, that's not really for me. Also, hi, we've got some new people in the chat. Welcome. So for the new guys, we're just currently answering YouTube questions. If you have any questions at all, just plop them in the chat and I will rifle through them. We have a bunch of people that submitted questions ahead of time, so I'm just going to be going through some of those. But feel free to put whatever you got, any question, any YouTube-y thing at all. It could be question about the algorithm, question about your channel, question about how things work, rumors you heard that you want to know that are true. Anything along those lines will be great. Happy to answer any of them. Okay, so another question that I got a ton of was, how do I get paid promotion? And that's a great question. So as you can imagine, it's one of those things where the more you do, the more you get. So it's easy in one way. Like, it's easy to upload a video, quote unquote, but it's harder to get someone to pay you for that video. So how do you get paid promotion? You need to be able to think about yourself from a brand perspective. So like for example, for myself, as being a Canadian, um, I was very big into Tim Hortons coffee, and still am. Love Tim Hortons, and it was my brand on the internet was known as like the friendly Canadian kind of thing. So when we were in talk, we ended up falling in contact with Tim Hortons, and they were like, "Oh, we've seen your stuff. You're perfectly on brand because we were known as like the Canadian brand, and it wouldn't make sense for myself to work with an American company as a Canadian brand." So Tim Hortons we ended up working together for quite a long time, for years, because I made my content appeal to that brand because we had a brand match, as it were. So, for example, like if you do cooking videos and you do like a lot of like meat, like if you're like a very carnivore, you got a beard and you got a smoker, you'll probably lean towards getting more easier to get brands that might be a little bit more like outdoorsy, like barbecue. You might have a little more hard time getting like a brand that's more like a slow cooker, for example. So you need to make sure that the content you're making is portraying a brand that you want people to understand, and you're putting out there what you want to come back. And that's, I think, is one of the most important things, because there are people that go like, well, I'm a cooking channel, why don't I get sponsored by KitchenAid? And it's like, well, I mean, you swear in your videos, and KitchenAid as a family brand isn't one that's going to work with someone who maybe swears in their videos. So you got to make sure that your brand is on point for what you're trying to get out. And then once you've built up enough library of content, you can then start to you have your library content, you have things you can talk about, you have things you can show. Hopefully, people have seen it. And then once you do one brand, you might want to do one or two for free. There's nothing wrong with getting a couple under your belt. And then from there, you can start to charge a little bit more. So when I did my webinar, not last week, not the week before, I think it was a month ago now. Oh, it feels like it was a couple weeks ago. When I did my webinar a month ago, I gave an example on how my mom did a bunch for free. She just had a product. Like, let's just say what I have on my desk. I have this Nintendo Switch NES controller. So let's say I really like this product. I can then go and be like, just email Nintendo. Nintendo's a terrible example because they'll never do it, but you'll get the idea. You can email Nintendo or reach out to their Twitter, talk to their social people, and just be like, hey, I'm a huge fan of your product. I'd like to feature it for free in my upcoming video. I don't want anything, but I would love to structure it in a way that you can then promote the video. So you could do that, and then suddenly you're using the brand as a vehicle to get more promotion, and you've also done one for free, and you've made a relationship. So you do a couple of those, and then when you get in contact with the brand, you can then say like, hey, I've made 4 videos, like check them out, here they are. They don't have to know that it was free, and you still have something good, and then you hopefully got a little bit of promotion out of it. So let's see, got the younger audience, the observation one. Okay, there's another one here that put it in here. Gonna put this in here in the chat so people can read it. So I upload nearly I have I have uploaded nearly 600 videos. First of all, great for you. That is outstanding. 600 videos is a lot of work. So congratulations on getting 600 videos, and you did a great job. And their second part is, but I'm not getting much watch time. So the question would be, how do I get more watch time with that? So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go into your analytics. And when you click on the audience tab, so you go to just pick your most popular video or your least most popular video, go to the analytics, click on it. Then what you're going to want to do is go over to the audience tab, and then there's a graph. Let me see if I can pull one up here that you guys can see. I'm going to do this real quick. Oh, I'm logged into the channel, so I can't. Oh, well, okay. So when you're doing it, there's a graph that you can look at. And that graph, it's an audience retention graph. And so when you see that graph, it's like a chart. Actually, you know what? I am going to call it up because I have the decks from before. Because visuals are much nicer than no visuals. One moment, please. Share my screen. Share this tab. Okay, let's put this up here. Let's just do this full screen. All right, there we go. So where is it? So this is the presentation I gave a couple weeks ago, so I'm just kind of flipping through it. Yes, retention graphs. So when you go into your analytics, as you see here, you can click on the analytics and you can go into a very specific video. And then you have the overview, and sometimes they show the graph right on the overview. Sometimes you have to click over to audience. So you can see here, this is the graph we can see. If this graph looks like this, where it's very, I guess here's a closer up one. It has good retention, you'll get more watch time. If your graph looks kind of like this, where at the very beginning, you can see there's 100% of the people click play. And then what happens is after the first 10, 20, 30 seconds, over 60% of the people, over 70% of the people have left the video. So if your video looks like this, you'll probably never get a lot of watch time because you're losing most of your audience in the first 10 seconds. So you'll be able to see this and say, okay, there's something wrong at the beginning that I need to change. So on video number 601, you should hopefully say, okay, I'm going to try something a little bit different. And maybe hopefully it starts to look a little bit more like this. So it smooths out. And then whatever happens at the beginning, if you are able to retain a little bit more audience, then you tweak it a little bit more until eventually you get something that looks like as straight as possible. Something like this. The straighter the line, the better. See, we got a question here. I'm a musician that vlogs. I mostly use my own music. I claim my copyrights through TuneCore. Does that affect the visibility of my videos? It's a good question. Let's go back to my face so you don't look at the screen. That's a good question. It does not affect the visibility of your videos. So when you copyright your videos through TuneCore, that's a separate thing. I don't think it copyrights it specifically on YouTube. I think that's going to depend on your settings. Like, are you fingerprinting the video? Are you uploading the video into Content ID? But either way, that copyright will not affect your views at all. If anything, it'll just help you. It could prevent other people from uploading your tracks to YouTube. It would prevent other people from using your tracks in their videos, but it will not hurt yours. A good comparison would be like most of the music on YouTube. I wouldn't say most, but you look at like the big. I was gonna say Vimeo, but it's not Vimeo. Vivo. Like you look at like Dodie Clark, for example. She has a Vivo account, and there she uploads her full albums onto YouTube with full copyright, and people are not able to use that video, or they get copyright, or video or audio, or they get copyright flagged. And that doesn't affect the visibility at all. So don't worry about that. Keep claiming your music. It won't hurt it at all. What you could do, and I know there's a bunch of people that I've even done this before. There was I can't remember the guy's name, but it was someone who made a lot of music, and he just put up all of his tracks for free for people to download and use in their YouTube videos. Like if someone's like, "Oh, I need an intro song," he'd be like, "Go to my library, pick a song," and you can use that track as your intro music or just music under your how-to videos. But in the comments or in the description, please link to my YouTube channel as like a thank you. So that's worked really well for him, because then you're giving people music for free, and you get a lot of different channels pushing back. So you can use that as a way to, if you remove the copyright on some, maybe not all, right? Maybe you can just make 4 or 5 tracks that are just 4 or 5 tracks. Like, I'm going to make these free, and I'm going to freely distribute them to people who want it. I'm sure there's people in the social Bluebook community that could probably use it as well. So you already have a group of people that could probably benefit from it. And then just ask them to link back to your channel. I think you'll get some, you'll be seen as doing a good thing and also getting a little bit in return. You're welcome. Hopefully that helps. Okay, so another question I got here was I'm going to put it in the chat here so people can read it. Love to understand why YouTube is not showing my videos to people who are not subscribed to my channel. So that wasn't the question I thought when I first started. I thought it was going to be, I'd love to understand why people aren't showing my YouTube videos to people who are subscribed, which is one question, but I'll answer that one next. To people who are not subscribed. So I can answer both questions, assuming you were asking about people who are subscribed and who are not subscribed in the same answer. So what YouTube does is they take, let's say you have 100,000 subscribers, right? They're about this big. YouTube will, when you upload a video, they will show your video to maybe 10,000 people, not all 100,000. They're going to show it to 10,000 people who they feel is the most engaged with your channel. So if you probably know it. If you have subscribers, you're like, you probably know people by name. You're like, it's these people. They're always chatting. YouTube's going to show the videos to them first. Then, based on how those people react to the video, if there's a good click-through rate, if people are like reading the title, clicking on it, that's going to be really beneficial. If people are then watching watching a good amount of the video, that's going to help a lot too. And based on how it does, YouTube goes, okay, you know what? You uploaded a video, it did okay. It did okay with our test group of 10,000 people. Let's try showing it to more of your subscribers. So then maybe YouTube will show it to 50,000 of your subscribers or 500, like whatever the number is, it's irrelevant. They'll show it to more. And then if those people also watch it and click on it and basically engage with the content, YouTube says, this is going pretty well. It'll then expand it even more. So to show it to all your subscribers. And then again, if everyone's being active and engaged with that video, they're going to start expanding it wider and wider. So if you make comedy videos and your subscribers are really liking this comedy video you posted, then YouTube will now show it to people who are not subscribed to your channel. So to be like, okay, these are people that we've identified that really like sketch comedy about aliens. And you uploaded a sketch comedy video about aliens and your subscriber loved it. So maybe these people who are not subscribed to your channel will love it. And then if they do, YouTube will then show it to even more people. So it'd be like, okay, let's show it to people who are maybe just into sketch comedy videos, not even necessarily sketch comedy aliens, just sketch comedy. And then if those people who are not subscribed that like sketch comedy videos that are enjoying your video, then YouTube will show it to even more people, maybe just people who like comedy videos, right? And then as you can imagine, it kind of grows and grows from there until next thing you know, your video is being shown on the trending page. So it depends on how it's like a testing, right? You're just going to show it to people, a small group of people, test it. If it does well, a little bit more. If it does well, a little bit more. If it does well, even more so, and then it'll get wider and wider and wider into just showing it to people on their homepage. Okay, got another question here. Oh yeah, this question. Okay, so this one, again, a lot of people ask this question, and it might be one of the most common questions I ever got. I left this one close to the end for the specific reason, because I think it answers most people. Yeah, that's the question. So why are the useless videos ranked in YouTube and getting views, but my videos that are really good are not getting views? That's my favorite question, and I love it. And it's not bad to say there are a lot of bad videos on YouTube. There's a lot of good videos on YouTube, and that's very subjective. It hurts if you're like, I made a short film and spent 100 hours on it, and it's edited really well, and it's written, and we did color correction, and we did special effects, and we did all that stuff. And it's like, why did that video, which is hilarious and put so much work into it, do terrible compared to a video of someone, who just like flipped on their webcam and like very low quality, maybe made a funny joke, and then that was it. It's a little disheartening. And there's a lot of questions that are just like, it's disheartening. It makes me feel down. It's hard to continue to make what I believe to be good stuff when what I believe to be bad stuff gets a lot of views. And that's a hard one. And it's something that I also struggled with because we used to upload like really high quality short films. And you could look at it and just be like we would spend a month on a short film or more. And when you put it out there, it's like, oh, it got, 10,000 views. But the daily vlog channel, which recorded it, got maybe 20,000 views in the time frame if you add it all up. So it's like, why even bother make these really high quality videos if this low quality videos is what's doing it? So there's kind of two answers. One is you need to do what you like. So if you do like making really high quality produced videos, then you should just continue doing it. If that's something if it's feeling like you're burning out and you're like, I don't really want to do this anymore, it's too much work, then you probably shouldn't. Maybe look at doing things that are easier. There's other things to keep in mind, like brands will be more attracted to higher quality videos. So if you are producing higher quality videos, like what we did, we were producing really high quality sketch comedy videos around short films and stuff around Star Wars. And we put, I did a lot of special effects myself. We put a lot of time into it to the point that Star Wars noticed that the content was like, they're like, these lightsabers look like real lightsabers, like exactly like the movie. And it's like, yeah, I know, because it spent 48 hours on that one lightsaber. So then brands will notice it and brands will reach out. But ultimately, at the end of the day, people will watch what people find to be the most exciting, right? So if your short film is really well edited, or your documentary or your expose video or whatever it is you're doing is really well produced, if people aren't engaged, it's just simply not going to matter. So that's where you need to make sure that whatever you're doing, as high quality as it is, you need to make sure that it's also high quality content wise. I put air quotes because it's kind of vague, but when your video starts, are you engaging them? Is there like a really long intro where like people are like, I don't really know what's going on, so I'm going to leave? And is it what I see this a lot is people come up with a good idea for a sketch, right? It's like, I got this really funny joke, and I'm going to make it into a video. The joke itself might only be like, you could probably show it in 1 to 2 minutes, but they make a 6-minute video out of that 1 to 2 minute joke. And then it's really stretched out, and you kind of the audience knows when the joke is coming. Like, oh, I see, I get it, I know what the joke's going to be, and then they could leave. So even though the video is high quality, if it's not engaging enough, it's just not going to stay. And then you might look at someone who just filmed it on their cell phone, filmed a sketch, it's poorly edited, but if it's more engaging, it will get more views. So the most important thing is to make sure that the content you're making is engaging. Make sure that it's sustainable so that you're not burning yourself out, because you want to make sure that what you're doing is what you like. So even though some of the videos we made didn't get a ton of views, it didn't really bother me, because I would look at the video and go, good job. Felt good about that one. And that was good enough for me. So, and then also we had views on like blogs and other channels. So you need to make sure that what you're doing works for you, and you need to make sure that what you're doing is engaging enough to keep that audience around. And then what you could try to do is you could try to find a way to use the audience in the content. So for example, if you're doing like a podcast or a talk show, you can take audience questions, put them in there. You can take, you can do like little mini games. You can find comments that people left before and feature them. You can maybe bring a subscriber onto the show. There's a lot of things you can do to help bring the community involved, and then that will help grow as well, because then people are going to be, it's going to be more engaging, all in all. So I wanted to save that question for last, because I feel it's the biggest one. Just do one other quick check here. Oh yeah, okay. One more question that just came in was, So this one has a quick answer, so it's fine. We can do this quickly before we wrap this up. How do I get money the easy way? So I think that comes down to the two things: is they're looking for how can they be part of the YouTube monetization program, which back in the day you used to, like way back in the day, 2008. I've been on YouTube too long. You used to have to apply to be part of the YouTube partnership program. And then they only let in a certain amount of people a year. I remember for the one channel I was doing, is the fishing channel. We applied in 2008 and got denied. Or I think we applied in 2007, got denied, and then 6 months later we reapplied and got accepted. And we were one of the first 1,000 Canadian channels to ever get monetization. And then, everyone who applied that got it had ads. And then I think in like 2013 or 14, they just opened it up and said everyone can have ads. And so then everyone had ads on their YouTube channel. And then, as everyone knows, recently they said, okay, no more, everyone. We're going to go back to kind of the way it was in 2007, 2008, where you need to make sure your channel is getting enough views. Like, you need 4,000 watch hours in 1 year, or in one rolling year, to get part of the partnership program, as well as you need 1,000 subscribers. So it's kind of like the two-pronged question is, how do you get money the easy way? The answer is there is no easy way, unless you just happen to make the world's funniest viral video by accident, and then you had monetization turned on and you managed to make $1,000. If you consider that the easy way, then that's the easiest way. But it's not a long-term way, because you'll get that once and then that'll be it. Like, I don't think people still watch the Charlie bit my finger guy on YouTube. Funny video. I don't think people still watch it. There is a way where you can turn viral videos into more content, but you need to make sure that at that point you're already making content that's good and you're able to continue it going. So that's, again, wouldn't necessarily be the easy way. But to go back to the 4,000 watch hours, the best way to do it is to make sure that your audience, that retention graph, you just make content that engages people off the top. If you can keep people for 20 to 30% of your video will start to get shown to more and more people, and then you'll quickly be able to monetize your channel. And then I think that would be the easy way. So we're a little bit over time, a couple minutes, but I just wanted to toss that one in there because everyone wants it, and everyone would like to make money the easy way. So anyway, so thanks so much for coming, and Corrado. If you guys have any questions afterwards, or you think about something, you're like, shoot, I should have asked this, you can just hit me up in the Facebook group. You could also, I'm going to put it's in the description, but if anyone just wanted to book some time with me, I do have time availability. Just going to put it in the chat here. If you have really specific questions, so far I've helped about 7, 8 people, 9. Oh shoot, 9, who had really detailed questions that really wanted to get into things. So if you're one of those people, happy to help you. Otherwise, feel free to hit me up on the Facebook page or for the next one of these. All right, I'm signing off. See you guys next time.